right, this is our preseason interview with the Miami men's basketball team, and we have senior forward Bam Bowman. We'll open up for questions.
So generally, you guys have been practicing now for almost a month, I guess. Is there an area of the game where you've seen the team come the farthest from the beginning of practice till now?
One specific area that stands out is just, I want to say we communicate way more than last year. Us talking to each other, not only like in practice, but in games or even outside of basketball. We just communicate a lot more. So we became closer, and I feel like that really helps us on the court.
Do you feel pressure to be one of those people who's more vocal since you're a leader on the team now as a senior?
Not really, because I know all the guys. We've been together in the summer, so I've had a chance to actually build close relationships with them. So I feel like, that area is pretty easy for me.
Do you think the personality of this team is pretty similar to last year, or is it a bit different?
I feel like it's a bit different than last year because everybody's on the same page. We don't really have anybody going down their own way. Everybody's together. Everybody wants to win, and I think that'll be big for us.
Obviously, everybody's optimistic at this time of the year. Is there any particular aspect of this team that you could say point out to fans and say, this is why we're going to be better this year?
Again, I would go back to team chemistry. This summer, we had an activity with JROTC, and that experience alone really brought us together. And I feel like it'll make us more fun to watch because we're out there playing for each other and in Miami.
All right, thank you, Bam. All right, we're here with head coach Jack Owens for our season opening Miami basketball press conference. First, Coach, do you have an opening statement?
Yes, it's been a good, month of practice, and we had a scrimmage, and inter-squad scrimmage, and it's a good group to work with. They work hard. They bring energy and effort every day. So it's going to be an exciting team to coach, and hopefully a lot of winning along with that.
All right, we'll open up for questions.
What do you know about this team now that you didn't at the beginning of practice?
Well, they're a year older. Just start with that. We have a group that's been together for 2 years now, and obviously Bam's our only senior. But the one thing is this group is very competitive. It's the deepest we've been. We just have to stay healthy. If we can do that and just continue to get better each practice, each game, we should be fun to watch for sure.
Is there an area of your approach to the job as a coach that you've come, the farthest in from the time you got here until now?
Right. Since we arrived, we talked about building a winning culture, and I think when you look back and before you can win, you got to establish a program and winning in every area, and that's an area that I think on and off the court, our guys are really bought into playing together, playing for each other, playing the right way, and playing hard. That's an area that I have noticed that our guys are really bought into, and just staying the course and not really thinking about playing the NCAA tournament. Obviously, that's our goal, but just working each day to get better than the day before is a thing that we talk about a lot. And from a coaching standpoint, it's just great to have guys who have been through the program for 2 years and know what we want. And with Bam leadership and being our captain, it's great to have a guy who's definitely good enough, but be the captain of your team, and guys are going to rally around him and want to send him out on a high note for sure.
So since that's been your message since you got here, are you to a point where you feel comfortable, saying, okay, the guys have that down pat now, we can move on to maybe a little bit different of a message, or is it still going to be just that one central focus of winning?
Yeah. Yeah, winning the day. That's one thing that we talk a lot about. Each and every day, we want to improve and grow and learn from our mistakes, because we're going to make mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes as a coach. They're going to make mistakes as a player. But at the end of the day, if we stay together and we continue to play at a high level and just focus on Miami winning, that's the most important message that I can continue to give them, because this group do play hard. They will lay it on the line. I truly believe that. But we have to continue to grow, and we haven't won at a high level yet. And for us to think big picture, I just think we have to focus on winning the day and taking care of the day.
Bam talked about how he's seen improved communication from
Right.
last year to this year. Have you seen that, and can you point to one specific incident or area where that's been
For sure.
that
Before our,
you've seen it?
yeah. Sorry to cut you off. Before our scrimmage, there was dialogue actually between Bam and Delonte of how we should cover a ball screen situation. Where in prior year or when we got here, it was always the coaches explaining how we need to cover things and certain situations. And it was great to hear them talk it out, not only how they communicate to each other, but they both were right, and what Bam said, Delonte agreed with, and then they carried out their assignments. Just from that alone, it was just great to see where you have two guys who have played for the last 2 years to be able to take take each other comments and constructive comments and go out there and apply and carry out their assignments. That was pretty refreshing.
You talked last season ad nauseum about how missing Isaiah for most of your season was just a big blow to the team. How have you seen him impact the team so far this year, being back healthy?
Yeah, it was a big blow. The timing of losing Isaiah, and I guess I didn't know to the degree of how much he impacted the team, but also from a rotation standpoint, adding another guy that can handle the basketball, score the basketball, shoot the basketball, and probably one of your best three-point shooters, impact our team. Obviously in a negative way, losing him, but having him back is definitely refreshing. You got a high basketball IQ guy, a guy that can make shots. If he starts, come off the bench, if he plays 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it doesn't matter. He always have a confidence to himself where he's going to make the next play. But he's just a great guy to have that that can end games, that's going to be in at the end, and he has the ability to make shots, make the right pass, be to the midpoint defensively. A lot of things that he brings to the table that are great value to our program and our team.
Darian last year was an impact defensive player, well, the last 2 years,
Absolutely.
really. How are you going to replace that?
Yeah, there's not one guy that can replace the defensive pressure that he applied. He was one of the best on-ball defenders that I've ever coached. But to the other guys' credit, Mekhi Lowry, Day Grant, Myjai White, Isaiah Coleman-Lance, all four of those guys Milos Jokic, they can apply pressure full court. When I'm talking about jamming the basketball, keeping the basketball in front, but the things that Ringo could do on the ball, we don't have that, and I'm not expecting guys to duplicate that, but just do their jobs where they keep the basketball in front with constant pressure and don't allow guys just to break us off with dribble penetration. But that is an area that we will continue to work on because it's obviously the game now. It's one-on-one basketball, ball screen defense, so we have to be able to contain the dribble each and every night that we play.
Obviously, with Myjai redshirting last year, he got a little bit of a feel for the team and got to practice with you. What kind of improvement have you seen from him over the past year since he got here?
Well, he's a much better defender than when he first got here. That's one thing that's glaring, not only to me but to our staff. I believe he's going to be a guy that's going to be able to make shots. That's why he was recruited as a guy that can stretch the floor. But he's doing great things on the defensive end with his defensive pressure, containing the dribble, being to the midpoint, and doing the things that we ask.
Can you just tell us some of the highlights of the non-conference schedule this year?
Yeah, obviously it starts with Wright State. Anytime you have guys who can win their league, Wright State, Northern Kentucky, Bradley, Louisville. We open up in our MTE playing against Drake. Those are quality games that I know will get us ready for our conference race, our conference tournament, because those teams all have the capability of playing in NCAA tournament. Bradley played in the NCAA tournament, a year ago, did very well. Drake, they won the Missouri Valley last year. Louisville's going to be a top 5 team in the country, and playing there obviously is going to be a challenge. But each game is going to prepare us in our non-conference schedule for the MAC for sure.
Final question. Nike tested the waters with the NBA in the NBA draft process before returning to Miami this summer. What do you think he gained from that experience, and what do you expect from him this year?
We expect a lot from Nike on both ends. When you talk about an elite level athlete in Nike, but he can do other things. I know he's been labeled a scorer, obviously for scoring 1,000 points in 2 years, but he can do other things on the basketball court than impact winning. He can be a guy that can defend, rebound. He can make plays for others, but I believe you're going to see a guy that's going to transition into becoming a more efficient player overall. And if he can do that, he's just going to help our team. He could average the same amount of points, but impact the games in a different way, and still be a 2,000-point scorer and all that if he's here next year. So he's just an exciting player. We're thrilled to have him back, and just excited to see him take the next step. Every year I thought he's improved his game, but we asked him a lot. When he stepped foot on campus, he needed to be a guy that scored for us, and we put him in positions where sometimes it wasn't the best for him, but it was the best option we had, just letting him go play in space. So I think he would do a better job of setting people up and playing off others and those kind of things, because we have a lot of talent around him, where the defense is obviously going to focus on him, but if there's any help, he is making the extra pass, and those guys are making the correct play. And that's very important when you have a guy of his caliber, where he can break a defense down off 1 or 2 dribbles. If when they help make the right pass, and then next guy, if he can stick the shot or make get the hockey assist himself, that's good basketball. And I think Nike's definitely going to take that step this year.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thank you, guys.
We're here as part of our season opening men's basketball press conference. We're here with redshirt sophomore guard Isaiah Coleman-Lands. We'll open up for questions.
Okay, I guess, first of all, how are you doing in particular physically?
I'm doing great. I'm at the best health-wise I've felt in a while, so that's good. I feel like I'm doing pretty well.
What was the hardest part of your recovery?
Honestly, probably just getting around campus, because I had my surgery in the winter, so that's kind of tough. But other than that, it hasn't been too hard. I feel like every time you get hurt, it's going to be a tough road to recovery, but I feel like it wasn't terrible. My physical therapist did well with me, trainer, so I feel like it's been pretty smooth.
So you feel like you have your legs fully back under you on the court and that sort of thing? You feel like you're back to normal?
Yes, sir. Better than ever.
So you feel like you've been let out of a cage when you get out there on the court? It must feel really good to just get out there and run around again, huh?
It's just kind of, I don't want to say let out of the cage because I don't want to come out too aggressive, but it feels great to be playing the game that I love and fell in love with. So.
All right. Obviously, I'm guessing it was probably a new experience to have to basically sit for the majority of last season.
Mm-hmm.
Probably hadn't done that since you were a kid. What do you think you learned from that experience?
Well, obviously, when you're not playing, the game looks a lot slower because you're not in it. So I could break down different schemes and defenses and try to picture myself in certain situations on the floor and how I affect the game, and really help me mature, because off the court I can see where I can attack and without being too aggressive. So I feel like it's helped me a lot in just learning the game and learning our offense and learning the other teams we played against.
What's the biggest thing? Obviously, now that this is your 3rd year on campus, you've been with a lot of the same guys like Nike, Delonte, Bam, and those boys. What is the biggest thing you think you've grown on as a group over the past 3 seasons to now?
Obviously chemistry. I feel like we're kind of in sync. We know each other's strengths and weaknesses, so we can highlight our strengths and kind of help manage our weaknesses.
Anything more? All right. Thank you, Isaiah.
No problem. Thank you.